What is happening, collectors? In today's video, we're actually going to be talking about where to buy Pokemon cards in Canada. And I've actually done one of these videos before, but this is an update video. This is for the end of 2022 and actually going into 2023, because a lot of things have actually changed since we talked about this last. So jumping right into it, we're actually going to be talking about 3 distinct channels of how and where you can buy Pokemon cards in Canada. So the first one's going to be the big box stores, so your big national retailers. The second one is going to be the national e-tailers or e-commerce or online retailers, but specifically the national chain companies. And the last one, and the one I'm going to spend probably the most amount of time on, is the independent retailers, your mom and pop shops, your independent online shops as well, where I know there is a ton of options to buy. And before we jump into that, guys, if you could, please, if this is useful information for you, please leave a like on this video. It would be much appreciated, and consider subscribing to this channel. All right, let's jump into the big box, and where we're gonna start today is Walmart. Now, Walmart is a really good option because there are lots of Walmarts across the country, and you can buy a good selection of product, but I will say they don't sell booster boxes, and there are select collection boxes that they won't sell that will be exclusive for other channels like the independent retailers. But I will mention that big box, as convenient as they aren't the best price. They have been, and you would think they would be because they have the best buying power. They do have the best buying power, but they don't sell the best price. Often you will find many independent retailers offer better prices. Walmart as well doesn't have access to booster boxes and other special boxes like that would be reserved for the independent retailer channel. And I should mention you can buy on walmart.ca as well, but you need to be a little bit careful because it is a marketplace. And what that means is that anybody can sell on the marketplace. So you can buy direct from Walmart, but you can also buy through marketplace retailers. So you have to be a little bit leery about buying on there because you never really know who you're buying from. And next we're gonna jump into Toys R Us. And I know for a lot of my American subscribers, they're gonna say, what, Toys R Us is still a thing? Yes, Toys R Us is still a thing in Canada. It is still quite popular. There is 80 some odd locations, if I'm not mistaken, across Canada. A great option, again, not the best price. I find by particular Toys R Us that is the closest to me, I find they don't get things the day of release often. It kind of comes in the middle of the day or a couple days late. So it's not always the best if you want to be first in line and want to get that the day of release. Another popular option is GameStop, which was formerly EB Games. So now it is GameStop in Canada, and it is a great place to buy from. And the reason why I like it is because I am a member, so I get a little bit better pricing. And you can do pre-orders sometimes. So if there's a particular collection box or set, you can do pre-orders. Booster boxes are very rarely available at I would say I wouldn't expect them to be available at your local GameStop, but you can pre-order other items in collection boxes, like for example, the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. But again, their pricing is probably often a little bit higher than your local independent retailer. Another really cool option in Canada is Costco. Yes, there's Costco's across the country, and often they'll have packages directly from the Pokemon that would be like Pokeball tins, and it would be like a pack of 5 of them, or an ETB and some special promo cards. So Costco often has some pretty competitive priced product, but it's often old. You don't get new product there, and it is there intermittently. So it isn't always going to be something when you are walking into a Costco, but you know what? You'll walk in and be surprised and say, oh, look, a whole pallet of Pokeball tins. So it's a really cool place to go check every now and then. Other interesting places to check when you're out and about shopping would be like a Shoppers Drug Mart or a London Drugs. Those are just your local pharmacies. They sometimes will have individual booster packs or maybe blister packs or check lane blisters, those types of things. They don't really get much more beyond that. And again, it's kind of hit or miss. Other great options would be like Mastermind Toys. That is a great toy store, and they will have a decent selection, albeit a little bit higher of a price. But it's another unique place to check if you are having a hard time finding a particular collection box. I find that people don't go directly to Mastermind at first thought. And they have an online store as well. So again, you'll find a more limited selection with them. Chapters in Indigo, that's another cool place. I find online they have a better selection, but sometimes you'll find them in stores. Another really interesting place you wouldn't think of would be Pro Hockey Life. They have again, limited selection of Pokemon cards, but really, a good place that people won't go to first, especially if there's a desired collection box that you're looking for. Best Buy Canada, that's another option. Limited to what you'll find in store. You'll find more options online, but again, I would be a little bit weary of it because it is a marketplace. So again, you're not necessarily buying direct from Best Buy, but you're buying through Best Buy, and you could be buying from who knows who, and you don't really know if you're paying retail or over retail. Another option would be your local dollar stores. So like Dollar Tree, they used to have dollar store packs. We haven't had those in a while, but I would guess they would come back in the near... I think they'll come back in the future, but we'll save that for another video. Dollarama, but they would be probably not directly through the Pokemon. They would be resealed packs that would be, your 5 cards and maybe 1 rare card or something like that. So you just got to be leery of those if they're not directly packaged by the Pokemon Company International. Another place I saw them recently was As Seen on TV. I'm not sure if you remember that place, but it's in a mall. They're in malls across the country, and yeah, they often sell Pokemon cards randomly, which is kind of interesting. And lastly, I would say check your local grocery stores. Not all of them have them, but I have been in a few grocery stores that do have Pokemon cards, which is kind of different. Limited selection, very rarely you'll find them, but it's another place that's worth looking when you're out and about shopping. All right, now we're gonna move on to the online retailers, the national chain retailers. And of course, we're gonna start with Amazon.ca. Now, I would caution to buy through Amazon.ca. It is not like Amazon.com in the US where you can do pre-orders and they have a bigger selection and it's a little bit more reliable. In Canada, I don't know if they're ever going to get a direct relationship with the Pokemon Company, but often you're going to be buying through other companies, resellers, and it's just a little bit hit or miss. I wouldn't necessarily depend on that because I'm just worried that it may not be a legitimate product. Other options would be eBay. And again, eBay is just an online marketplace, an online auction site. You're buying from one individual to another. Sometimes businesses are on there, but it isn't probably my preferred place or place I would tell you to go to first. Now, another big one would be the PokemonCenter.ca. This is actually buying direct from Pokemon. So I will say you can depend that the prices you're gonna get there are often the best, not always the best, but often the best. Sometimes it is difficult to get the product from them because it sells out really quickly. Everything is really at retail. I would say maybe not buy booster boxes. They are elevated prices on the website, but it is a really great place to buy. It is not free shipping in Canada. As of today, it's $10 flat shipping. So whether you buy $5 or $500, it's $10. So that's one thing to be aware of, where some of the online retailers that we're going to be talking about soon, many of them do offer free shipping. And then lastly, you've got Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji. Again, these are just marketplaces where you're buying from one person to another. You're often going to find that's where scalpers are selling. So isn't the preferred place that I would recommend to go. If you're looking to buy singles or collections, that's probably the best place to go. Now, before I jump into the independent retailers, if you could please consider subscribing and leaving a like on this video. It would be really appreciated. Now we're going to jump into my favorite part. This is the independent retailers and independent online retailers. You know what? Like, buying from big box and buying from these online stores is wonderful, but if you can support an online retailer, your local mom pop shop, that is the best place to go. And you know what's even better about it is that you often can get a better price. You can often get better service. And it's just a nice thing to be able to support small retailers in Canada. Starting with one of the biggest is Hobbiesville.com. Now, they are not that old of a company. They've only been around for maybe a couple years now, 3 years, and they've done a fantastic job. They are probably the go-to place. And what's interesting about them is they do pre-orders faster than anybody. And what I mean by that is the moment Pokemon announces that there's going to be a collection box coming out, they're probably the first company to put the pre-orders open. Now, their pricing is competitive and their selection is very wide, and they also get allocated a lot because of their size and because of how big they are. They're out of Ottawa, Ontario. They do ship nationwide, and they even ship into the United States as well. And oddly enough, I do have a code with them. And what I mean by a code, it's a coupon code. So you can save 5% if you use the code Millennial. So if you're using Hobbiesville, definitely use the code Millennial. Just know that you can use the code only one time. So, if you're going to use it, might as well make it a good one anyway. So I wouldn't use it for a small purchase, but that's something to know. Another great retailer I can recommend is deckoutgaming.ca. They're actually a online only store, and I've bought quite a bit through them. I very much enjoy them. They have a great selection. They do singles, they do live breaks, and I actually have a code through them as well. So again, use the code Millennial, 5% off on all those things that I mentioned, including the live breaks. And that code you can actually use as many times as you want. So every time you go buy from them, just use the code Millennial, you save yourself 5%. Another huge online retailer is 401 Games. They've been around for a long time. They've got a couple locations in Toronto. They do all your different TCGs and sports cards and everything. So they're another big company. They do a lot of pre-ordering. That's a big part of their business, but they're another really good option. Another great store that I really do love to buy from is Zephyr Epic. They are out of Western Canada, so they're actually out of British Columbia. They've got great selection, great product. They have a very competitive shipping rate, prepaid rate. So they're another great company to definitely check out. Now, I have a list of a whole bunch of other online retailers that I have used and independent retailers, stores that I have bought from. I can't talk about every single one of them individually, but I'm just going to give you a list of all the ones that I've had success with. They've done really well. They've shipped the product, had great pricing. So I'd recommend spshop.ca, Geek Fashion, BoardGames.ca, God's Arena, Cardboard Memories, Big Boy Cards, Untouchables.ca, Atlas Collectibles, Prisma TCG. These are all ones that I've had a lot of success with, but there's even some other ones that are very big retailers that I've never bought from, but I know are really good retailers, like Doze or Dollies or Infinite Cards. I've also been recommended Dual Kingdom, Face to Face Games. These are all awesome companies that you should feel comfortable to buy from, and you're gonna get great service, great prices, and great selection. Now that's everybody I've had good luck with, but you know what? There are probably other amazing online retailers and independent retailers that you've had success with. I would ask that you leave a comment down below. Let everybody know who you've had success with, who you would recommend, and even if maybe it's someone that I mentioned, maybe you confirm, say, yeah, you know what? I really love this retailer. They're great to me. That's it for today's video. I really appreciate you joining me today. I hope this was helpful. Leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Have an amazing day.